What's up, guys? So last video was pretty awesome. Gray car runs, super stoked about that. God damn, that thing was just one of the most brutal projects I've ever done. I have no idea why. It was just like that car did not want to run. Like it did not want to be brought back alive. Everything you did was just a battle every single step of the way. But we won the battle. Thing runs and drives. And here's a couple clips of me driving it to Darren's house yesterday to make the switch. And it went pretty good, so check them out. Off to make the switch. It's a high of 0 degrees today, and the gray car's out here freaking ripping. Woo! Cold as ice. There's the old golf course. Oh, hell yeah. With these tiny little turbos, this thing is just so incredibly responsive. It's absolutely unreal. So you've seen that. She made a little boost. Drives pretty good. Got a couple bugs to work out with the transmission, but not a big deal. But otherwise, the red car is back home. She's back home. My baby. My favorite. And you can see I did a little work on the old exhaust pipe. Got her all shined up, so it actually matches everything else now. And I'll drop a little clip here of my dad doing that. So that thing absolutely turned out badass, and it looks so killer. Made my little weld mess up here not look quite as bad. That piece was really rough to make, so not my best work ever, but it was not the easiest welding in the entire world either. So, but it turned out nice, and the pipe looks absolutely fantastic, all polished up. Got the tip on there. That's all polished up good too. And as I showed in one of the previous videos, I put the 417 water manifold on. So that's all hooked up here. Got the water lines around. Plenty of room from the headers where they were ultra close before. And then fittings were ultra tight. So again, this one's kind of hard to see. You can see it right here, and then you can see it back there a little bit. Got a little room there, plenty of room. So looking good there. Just got do some fuel line stuff and tighten lifters up. Get the transmission back. The torque converter is supposed to be here today. But they, I don't know, something with the shipping, it's delayed, so it better not be lost. I'll lose my mind. So other thing that we're doing is I would like to pull a trailer with it at some point, but I don't have a trailer and I haven't really seen anything good to buy. So I'm going to use one of those little truck back racks that you can put like dumpsters and stuff on. That's my idea for at least to carry a couple gas cans in a toolbox, because this thing has it has room in the back seat, but you can't get nothing there with the cage. So, got the back bumper all off. You can see the big Aeromotive 10.0 just chilling right there. So, I am going to put this pipe, this square one, over this pipe that's already here. Like so. Cut to the same length, hole drilled in it, just like it. Because we think with the side weight, it's going to rip this hole out that the parachute bolts through pretty easily, because it'll have, 200 pounds on it. So you put that through, drill the hole the same spot so it's braced, and then that will make the old parachute slide back in there exactly how it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to buy the little thing, the back rack or whatever incarnation you want to call it, And I'm going to get a bar like this and drill a hole through it so it's good and strong, because I don't want nothing breaking while I'm driving down the road. And this thing does not ride like a Cadillac. So gonna weld that on there, drill a hole through it, and so then that guy just slides right up in. And then the parachute will mount on the back of that, so I can still tow that baby around. And it should be ultra sturdy, and you'll never see it. It'll still, outside of the car, it'll still be a round parachute tube just like it is, but underneath the bumper, it'll just be square. So I think that'll work pretty dang good. And then other things I gotta do, they require a horn. So I bought this little cheap Amazon horn boy that I'm gonna put in here. So just kind of got to figure out where I want to put a switch. I didn't want to use a switch, but I don't really have anything else that's any good that I can hide in the car. So we'll see. Haven't really thought too much about it. Got a couple sensors to wire in too. I got my transmission sitting up here on the bench. It's back together, ready to go. Got the pan off. And what I did is where is it? Drilled and tapped a 1/8 inch NPT hole in the side of it, and I'm going to run this temperature sensor because I never had a temperature sensor in a transmission before. So I bought that guy. Unfortunately, it did not come with a pigtail, so I got to get one, and it only comes with 2 pins, so I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to mess it up, but that's what I'm going to order for now, and I'm going to keep chipping away on this thing and get it ready for sick week. It's coming fast. I mean, less than 30 days, so shouldn't be a whole lot of work, maybe a good weekend's worth, and she should be good to go. So it's looking good. I'm happy with it so far. A little more work. Hear this baby start up and breathe some cold Minnesota air, and then breathe some warm Florida air. And I hope to God it cools. I'm so worried about it cooling, but I think it'll be all right. And that's about it. So we're gonna keep plugging away. No. What'd I do? What'd you do today?
Cage is certified. I got a sticker. 3 months almost to the day. Non-stop grinding. Cutting, notching, bending, Austin welding.
She turned out pretty dang nice. It's a 25-3 roll cage, good to 650, all chromoly. Pretty badass. Austin, the welder man, killed it. Fancy, fancy. Serial number 1. So, back in the shop, doing a little work, and the new Circle D torque converter showed up today. And it is a very, very nice piece. As far as all the machine work goes, the way they do the fins, I mean, here's the inside of it right here. Everything is just absolutely amazing. The machine work, they even sent me an extra stator, which I have right here. I can show you a little better what this looks like. But all this is all machined in here. And I think it's machined after it's welded, but I'm not totally positive. But overall, very nice piece. They actually have contoured fins, which is, they're one of the only companies that actually does that. So that's super badass too. But unfortunately, on the back cover, which I'll show you later, it's in my car right now, they machined the clearance for the input shaft here to a 1-inch input shaft, which, as some of you know, I have an 1.1/8 input shaft. I have the oversized, I believe it's a Sun-X kit. So right now I got the approval from Circle D and everybody, and so I'm gonna go to work and machine that out. I'm gonna put a brand spanking new torque converter in a CNC mill and cut it, so that'll be kind of fun. But huge thank you to Steven for coming over last night and helping figure out what was going on, because I could get it on most of the way, but I couldn't get it the last 280 thousandths or whatever, however deep that pocket is. So that was the issue that I was having. He came over, helped me resolve it, and or at least figure out what was going on. So big shout out to him. That was very nice of him. And he isn't a dealer or anything for them, but I kind of just went through him through the purchase, since he runs a lot of them and is pretty good friends with the guys who do all that stuff. So it ended up working out super good, and not a big deal that I got to go machine this. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm just, very lucky that it happened to me, that I have the power to go and do that kind of thing. So it works out pretty good. I'll take it to work, cut it, no big deal. I'm not gonna sit here and bash them. Shit happens, you know, big deal. Luckily it happened to me, and I have a CNC at my disposal, and I'll go cut it and fix it. No big deal. We'll come home, put it together, and it all should be good in the hood. So I'm gonna head to work, and I'll try to film a little bit of that machine because it should be kind of cool. It's not taking a whole much off, so it's not going to be, you know, just chips singing everywhere. I'll probably just run no coolant and just be real gentle with it because the holding is going to be a little bit sketchy, but it should work all right. I'll show you that when I get up there. So we are here at work, and what I'm doing is setting up to machine this thing. So I got it in the vise here. You can see I can't really hold on to it very well. You know, this is a mill. This is probably made in a lathe, but it's sitting on the pads here. There's 4 of them on each mounting surface. You can kind of see under there. So it's in there good. Clamped it in nice. It's not crazy tight, but the tooling pressure of this is going to be very, very minimal. So it doesn't have to be reefed on, you know, to hold in or anything like that. But so what I did after I did that was I checked to verify that the plate was flat in here. So flat across it all, because if it's crooked, you're going to machine a crooked sprocket. You don't want none of that. There's our brake buzzer. But so I did that, and now I am picking up the center of that hole. So you can see right here, I got my indicator in. Swing this guy around, and then we read 0 on the dial, just like it does the whole way, all the way around. So that's what you want, because that's the pocket we're machining. So pick up on that. Then we come over to our software here. You can see I drew a circle at the size that we need, 1.18. It says it up here, you probably can't really read it. And then I just selected Z0 at the top of the part, which is just sticking up above the vise right here. This is about 200 thousandths, so that's my Z0. And then I measured from the bottom of that pocket to the top of this. So from right down here, kind of down by where that indicator needle is, right up to here. And I got that measurement because I'm going to take it 60 thousandths deeper than that. That number was a 1.57109, and I'm taking it 60 thousandths deeper. So it'll be a total of 1.6311 deep. And I'm just very slow tool path, trying to be extremely nice to it because obviously I don't want to kick this thing out of the vise. So that's what I got going. We're all picked up on it. I G15'd it, which is set your 0. So you can see now the absolute of the machine is 0, 0, right as this thing swings 0. And the 0 of my program is also 0, 0, the center of that hole. So we're all set up to cut it. I'm going to get a GoPro set up, just verify a couple other things, make damn sure that the thing's in there flat, and go ahead and send it, I guess. back home. You've seen that little clip of me doing some machining. And you can see in there, I already put the bearing back in, but it is cut out. Doesn't really look a whole lot different, but the main point is, if you take this input shaft, it drops right in the middle of that hole like so. It fit through the bearing and everything, but there's a little tiny diameter on the inside, and that was machined out for a 1-inch input shaft, not an 1.1/8. So after doing that, it looks like it's all gonna fit good. I cleaned it up, put the bearing back in, and should be golden now. So I'm gonna slap this baby back together and hopefully throw it in the car. So then, when you put one of these guys back together, Steven told me last night that you want to make sure that everything spins. Give everything a spin after you set it in here. So that kind of falls in there. And this piece is also removable, which does go in each way, but you can see that guy spins. And there's a little bearing right here on this. And that fits over that. And then you take this and you set it in here. Now that guy spins. So everything spins as it's supposed to. Just like so. And then you can go ahead and put your cover on. You got to make sure you got the seal up in here, so it's got the seal. And then there are 2 dowels on this, and you just got to find out which way they go, which it looks like it goes like this. Then you just got to make sure your dowels line up. There ya, my GoPro took a spill, classic. And then he said to make sure you start all these by hand so you don't cross thread anything and wreck the threads on this, because that would be quite the catastrophe. So we're slapping her back together, and there are a ton of bolts. And all these bolts do get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. And Steven just kind of told me a little sequence that he likes to do when you're tightening them in. And so I'll show you, and we'll go ahead and do the same procedure. So the way that he explained it was you take a drill and then you put it on clutch mode so it gets weak right there. And so that's going to ensure that it's not going to get over torqued just while you're zapping these in. Otherwise you could make this take forever. So he said just kind of go opposite, just like so, and just kind of bounce around a little bit. So we're just going to kind of go corners here. Come back. Now you go ahead and you set your torque wrench up. 18 foot-pounds is what it is. And torque every single one. So we'll do that. Then she should be good to put in here. Everything appeared to fit the way it was supposed to. I'll just kind of do the corners, then I'll go every other one. So, we're getting ready to install this thing because the converter fits. As you can see, she's all up in there right now. Looks good. Got my bar in there to make sure it stays in. The spacing looks like it should be all good, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap her in, get this project knocked out. Well, the transmission's all in. I didn't really film too much of it. It don't really take very long, and if you've watched my videos prior, you have seen me do that a couple times. So that's all in, buttoned up. Just waiting for a gasket so I can seal up the bottom and put fluid in it and everything, but just kind of been putzing with a little bit of wiring for some sensors that I'm adding to it, and that's about it. But I think that's gonna wrap up this video. So glad the torque converter, everything works out good. Fixed a problem. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was easy to fix, you know, is what it is. And luckily it helped them out too, because they updated their design so they won't run into this issue again. So worked out pretty awesome. Big thank you to Steven for all the help. He was crazy help. I mean, I learned a lot about just taking them apart and putting them back together, and then fitment and things to check, and I just seen a lot, and it was great. So big thank you to him. But the car's coming along. Next video will be about making the little trailer hitch setup deal. So that's gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate y'all for watching, and we will see you next time.